Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I said I was gonna just make a snack for myself. Oh, sorry. I think you guys were hearing my armrest there. But I was pretty hungry, turns out, so I actually made an early dinner for myself. Ate at 5:30 and right now it is 6 p.m. And we are back. I have not edited the last video, so I probably will edit before I go to bed or something so that the render can be done while I'm sleeping. Thankfully, I don't have, newer generation PC where it takes like a huge amount of watts from your electricity bills. Thankfully, I still have my 1080 Ti, which lasted me about 4 years now, and hopefully 2 to 3 more years. I mean, considering the games that I play, it's fairly fairly adequate for myself. All right. Let's continue on, shall we? Sorry about that. I was looking at my left side and the was like moving around. I thought it might have been a ghost. It gave me a bit of a fright there. But I think it was just, I don't know, something moving there. Maybe a spider or something. That was scary. Yeah, almost feels like it went too well, to be honest. The operatives broke into our room, spreading concentrated gas throughout the building, then triggered an explosion via, I think it's via, our literally untouchable incendiary device, exactly according to plan. The roar of the blast was followed by the sound of shattering window panes, then the loud cracking sound of the building itself swelling violently outward. With that as a cue, Machina and I quietly exited our hiding space. Flaming particles of dust were still swirling in the corners as we slipped out the room and down the hallway. Ambushing and disabling 2 isolated members of the panic raid team took only seconds. We stripped the pair of their equipment and threw it on over our clothes, covered our faces with their gas masks, then left the building with Machina playing the role of a casualty. As the relief team rushed over, I picked out the man with the armband of a squad leader, then shouted, "There's more wounded inside. We need help getting them out." Once the squad had rushed into the building, all that remained was silencing the one member who'd been left behind in the station wagon they were using as a material transport. Such jobs are usually left to apprentices, still too green to enter the actual scene of a raid, and when I glanced inside, I discovered a female employee wearing glasses. The only people who need corrective lenses in our company are total newbies who haven't gotten their mandatory vision correcting surgery yet. I guess that's supposed to be women. No, I think that's right, it's a woman. Woman couldn't have been with us for 3 months. However, she had a truly fine rack. Just as I began idly wondering if root titties had been added to the selection criteria for the SFGP, it struck me that the dopey-looking chubby-cheeked glasses girl before me was actually a familiar face. Well, if it isn't Heart 11 from last night. Yes, she was definitely the one and only agent I'd allowed to escape from my little rampage in Shinbashi. I casually removed my gas mask and whispered a few words. "Hello again, thanks for last night." The instant she saw my face, Heart 11's eyes went big as saucers behind her glasses, and her mouth fell open in a perfect circle. To her credit, she promptly reached out for the PT on her radio, but I put a stop to that. I grabbed her wrist, wrenched it sharply upward, and pulled out the cord of her radio before she could so much as blink. After tying behind her back with nylon cable, I ejected her forcibly from the vehicle. Leaving Heart 11 rolling around on the asphalt while yelping like a dog whose tail had been stepped on, we beat a hasty retreat in the station wagon. The notebook PC inside the vehicle allowed us to call up a map overlaid with locations of end-system cameras and potential checkpoint deployments. Taking care to avoid them, we drove around the city in circles for a good hour or so. We crossed paths with Motor Patrol Force cars several times during this little expedition, but there was no reaction. Seems safe to say Sakura Damon isn't heavily involved in this yet. I imagine they provided access to the end system. but it doesn't look like Ichigai has given them photos of our faces, let alone requested an official manhunt. Politics get involved. People sitting right next door to each other can't even manage to keep up a decent line of communication. All the more so when our company is the key player, of course. Honestly, you're both special state agencies, right? The hell's the point of sneaking around all the time? Friendship in the grown-up world. There's a lot of bullshit involved. Anyway, let's ditch the wagon in this coin parking lot here. Don't forget anything inside, alright? What's wrong? I think Amane gave her this? I could be wrong. What? Well, crap. We can't exactly run back over there to pick it up. Oh, it was Sachi. It's a shame, but I don't think there's anything we can do, Makina. I understand, but we can't just casually wander back to the scene of the crime, can we? Even if we did, it wouldn't be there. They must have confiscated it as evidence by now. You're being kind of unreasonable, Makina. That's not what I'm... Shit. How can I explain this? Damn, I'm actually just realizing, but the temperature in this room is getting pretty hot. I'm guessing it's because my PC is getting a bit old, and I guess dust and heat is building up on the CPU and GPU. I might need a thorough cleaning in like half a month. Or sorry, not half a month, half a year. Maybe I have to repaste the GPU. Yeah, I understand. It's an important tree. For you and me both. It's a seed of hope. But look, Makina, even if the tree's safe, if you lose your life, it's all over. And on the other hand, even if you lose the tree, as long as you stay alive, we'll definitely see them again someday. Please understand. Don't worry too much, alright? If they confiscated it as evidence, it'll probably end up labeled and stowed in some vault. Once they're done investigating, they'll water it to keep it from withering. I'll find a chance to go steal it back eventually, okay? Yes, that's a promise. So for now, let's focus on finding ourselves a place to hide for the night. Damn, she must be like really stressed out because she's kind of being super unreasonable. When people get stressed out, they kind of, you know, blame something, or they kind of freak out over like small things in general. I'm guessing that's what Makina is experiencing right now. Because logically what she's doing doesn't make sense, right? But we are not in their current predicament, so as a third observer, it's always very easy to logically say that something is unreasonable. We abandoned the nondescript station wagon with the keys hanging out of the passenger side door. Not like we left anything inside for a thief to steal, and it's hardly our problem if someone rips out the radio or whatever. In fact, it'd be convenient for us if someone were to steal the whole vehicle and have themselves a little joyride. Pulling Makina by the hand and trying to ignore the downcast expression on her face, I head down a flight of stairs into a subway station. I also just drank some coffee, JB. I know it's 6 o'clock, but I like my coffee. I usually drink about 2 cups a day. Okay, you're crazy. Never do this, by the way. I think the limit that you can drink your caffeine at is like what is it, 350 milligrams per day, and that's like borderline. Of course, as long as you don't drink that much every single day, you're going to be fine, but 18 cups of coffee? You're nuts. The most I drink is maybe about 4 cups.
そんな心配してるふりなんてしてくれなくても結構よ。別にいいじゃない。私の胃に穴が開こうとなんだろうと、あんたには関係ないんだから。勘違いしないでよね。
Man, your tsundere act is not really making you any cute right now, JB.
無駄にツンデレ風味。先輩、そろそろお休みになられた方がいいんじゃないですか？なんかテンションおかしくなってますよ。まだ平気よ。あなただって寝ていないのでしょ？うん。でも私はほら、まだ若いですから。あー、なんだろう。私ももう年なのかしら。よく聞こえなかったわ。ねえ、キアラ。もう一度言ってもらえる？
I personally understand this quite well. Like when I was younger, especially when I was in high school, I remember doing, you know, like all-nighters quite a lot. Not necessarily like studying, mostly just playing games, right? And then during the weekends, I would sleep off my like lack of sleep. Like I would sometimes sleep at 2 a.m. and then I wake up at 5 a.m. because I had to go to school by 5:30. Or I have to, you know, go to the school at 5:30 or be ready at 5:30 because my classes start at 6:30. 15 minutes of like morning prayer because I was in a Christian school, and after that, classes till 2:30. But yeah, now that I'm like, you know, older, I can't really think about sleeping out of rhythm. Technically, it's not because I'm older, it's the fact that I started exercising and have a routine. Like everything about my life right now is kind of scheduled, from what I eat, when I poop even. Because yeah, I just do my routine very meticulously. I kind of like it though. It feels like I have control over my life. Of course, I don't mind not having to stick to the routine once in a while, but I actually like my routine.
コーヒーのおかわりでしたね。
So I know that Kiara was being cheeky there by telling herself that she's still young, but in my opinion, like not sleeping very well is actually detrimental to you. So that's not something worth boasting about.
そう、カフェインみっちりで。だからなんですそれ。流行らそうとしてるんですか？まったくもう、どうして私の周りには口の減らない子ばっかり集まってくるのかしら。何かの呪い？それ、私のこと言ってます？っていうか、本部長はどこ行ったんですか？さあ、多分中央指令室でしょ。今日の不始末に対してだから私は悪くないってセリフを300回ぐらい口にしてるんじゃないかしら。私初めて会った時からあの人のこと苦手なんですよね。ここだけの話。そうね。顔もなんだかニクソンに似てるし、見てると殴りくなる顔だわ。
Who the hell is Nixon?
今さらっとすごいこと言いませんでした？え？私今何か言った？先輩、やっぱり少し寝た方がいいんじゃ。そうも言っていられないでしょ。下手をすればわざと逃がしたんじゃないのかって私に矛先が向くかもしれないのに。あー、確かにあの本部長なら言い出しかねませんね。はい、先輩、コーヒーです。カフェインみっちりで。
Gotta remember, man. Gotta remember, Shari no Kuni. You're third rate if you can't do your job correctly. What was it? I forgot. Like, you're third rate if you can do your job correctly but have to be ordered by others. You're second rate if you can do it. I don't remember actually. But being first rate is really hard is my take on that, or from what I remember. But yeah, that director guy, Otsuka, was it? That guy is probably third rate.
自分でそう言ったんでしょ。もう寝てくださいよマジで。それでその後の9029の消息は？はい、本社の捜査員82名が全員で捜索中ですが、依然として消息不明です。強奪された車は見つかったのでしょう？はい、本日の1530時に該当車両が N システムにヒット。急行した捜査員によって車両を取り押さえましたが、運転していたのは19歳の大学生でした。当人は車を拾ったと証言しています。拾った場所は覚えていないでしょ。それ以降の手がかりは1620時に御徒町駅前で9029によく似た人物が発見されましたが、確認の結果別人でした。それ以降の情報は皆無です。そう。じゃあ現場の宿泊施設に残された遺留品からは何か手がかりは？待ってください。遺留品リストはとあった。現場に残されていたのは爆発物の作成に使ったと思われる各種薬品と偽装に使った肥料、発熱剤の容器に使ったポリタンクが2つ。これらは前日に江東区のホームセンターで購入したものです。それと起爆装置に使われた電子玩具がメーカーから発売されたのは4年前で、現在は同モデルの店頭販売は行われていません。入手経路が不明です。
Providence? What is that?
おそらくはイリスマキナの私物でしょうね。他には現場の突入犯が所持していた MB5K PDW の銃口にガムが詰め込まれていたそうです。ガム？はい、グレープ味のバブルガムです。うちの調査班の解析ではリドバリージャパン社製のバブルで、唾液に含まれた細胞から風見雄二の DNA が検出されました。
Bubble King, I assume that's supposed to be something in Japan, a parody. I still have no idea why. Like, I guess technically it might be copyright issues or legal issues, but I'm not sure why. I think some brands are actually able, like, you are able to put their brand name in the games. I guess they just don't want to make it, you know, they don't want to make it into a habit by putting in like the real name, and at some point, like, you might not actually supposed to use the real name, and then they fuck up.
誰が噛んだかは重要じゃないんだけどね。他には何か残っていなかったの？あとは植木鉢が一つ。植木鉢？管理人の老婆の証言ではイリスマキナが抱えて持ち込んだもののようです。厨房で発見されました。何の花なの？いえ、どうやら花ではなくリンゴの木の苗のようです。リンゴね。リンゴか。何か特別な木なの？いえ、ごく普通の園芸店で1500円前後で購入可能なもののようです。あ、そういえば調査報告書と一緒にこんなものが届いてましたよ。何それ？封筒？誰から？さあ、気がついたら解析報告書と一緒に届いていたので、差出人の名前もありませんし、でも宛先はハルデラユリア様ってなってますよ。やあね、爆弾じゃないでしょうね。調べさせますか？いいわ。なんとなくだけど差出人には心当たりがあるから。誰なんです？解析報告書と一緒に届いたということは地下室の教授からのお手紙でしょうね。地下室の教授ってあれですか？うちの地下には超天才犯罪者が収監されているってやつですか？あれって都市伝説じゃないんですか？あら、知らなかったの？本当にいるわよ。だったらうちの屋上には UFO の発信基地があるって話は？
Sure, JB.
またそがおそばい夜。そんな封筒の中身何なんですか？どれどれ？
Return the potted plant to its prior location. Also, kindly refrain from burdening me with vapid busy work.
あらら、怒られちゃった。 変ね。面白い仕事だと思ったのに。何なんですそれ。なんていうか、今回の件で風見雄二の今後の動向を行動科学的に分析してもらおうと思ったんだけど、なんだろう、鉢植えを元の場所に戻せ、どういう意味？
I actually did not remember this scene at all. Wow. Interesting to know that this scene actually happened.
知りません。言葉通りに受け取るのなら、鉢植えを宿の厨房に戻せって意味じゃないですか？そうすることでどうなるっていうのかしら。
That's a typo there. That's supposed to be... But what could that possibly accomplish? Not a typo, I guess. It's just switched around.
私に聞かれても、そもそもその教授ってのが誰なのかも知りませんし。ま、いっか。その鉢植えはどこに保管してあるの？押収品はすべて第二資料室に保管してありますが。戻すんですか？元の場所に？だって教授がそうしろって言ってるんだもの。だものって、そんなことしたらまた怒られますよ。平気よ。教授には誰も逆らえないから。私知りませんよ。大丈夫よ。
The professor knows everything. Every once in a great while, there might be a minor miscalculation, but, well, the answers the professor provides are always roughly correct. If the professor says to put the tree back where it was, that must mean returning it will trigger something. As to what that something might be, I don't have the slightest idea. That's honestly more than a little frustrating, even maddening. But even so, I'll sit on my heels and wait, because that too is part of my job. Yeah, that scene was actually very interesting because I did not remember that at all. As you can see, it was also a very short scene too. After several hours creeping around the city, Makina and I chose a Love Hotel as our lodgings for the night, then had ourselves a modest dinner of boxed lunches from a store in the neighborhood. Since my tongue's been getting used to Amane's mild cooking lately, I chose the boxed lunches in the hope they might faintly suggest a similar home cooking feel. But apparently, Makina didn't care for hers, as she left most of it uneaten. If anything, I might just have exacerbated her yearning for Amane. Ever since discovering her apple tree was missing, the girl's been in a bit of a sulk. Well, maybe depressed is the better way to put it. Her absurd cheerfulness has vanished, and she's grown unusually quiet. It's not the first time I've seen Makina like this, but it's still a little hard. There's a selfish part of me that wants her to be smiling constantly. We've got logistical problems as well. Our current cash reserves have dropped below 50,000 yen. Unless we get our hands on some money soon, we won't be able to sustain this fugitive lifestyle. In the first place, we can't just run around in circles forever. We absolutely need an endgame. All this means is, I'll have to move the schedule up a little. Once again, night comes. As I watch the darkness in the sky grow deeper, it feels as though the black clouds in my mind are thickening as well. A deep black sky, when night completely covers the world. My head begins to throb with a familiar, painful fear. The devil wakes up. My hand starts to kill people all on its own. You asleep, Makina? Okay. I'm going to go take care of business. Wait here and behave yourself, alright? Well then, let's have ourselves a nice little hunt. Definitely not foreshadowing. Damn you.
COS-119 より緊急。90295らしき人物を発見。現在追尾中です。
またかね。これでもう4回目じゃないか。また人違いだったりするんじゃないだろうね。
そうですね。じゃあ追尾するのやめましょうか。
そうも言ってるんだろう。春寺君はどこへ行ったのかね。
所用だそうです。 呼び戻しますか？
所用？このタイミングでかね。まったく何を考えているのやら。ファレル君、コーヒーをもらえるかな？
嫌です。
は？
私はお茶組じゃありません。
は？だって君、いつもハルデラ君のコーヒーを入れているじゃないか。
あれは私が自主的に入れているものです。男性上司に顎で使われるために給料をもらっているわけではありませんから。
Damn, this girl feels like she's gonna get fired super quickly. What the fuck? I mean, is this guy not like, you know, JB's superior?
ああ、もうどいつもこいつもそんなに私が嫌いかね。
その答え、はっきりと聞きたいですか？
聞きたくないよ。もういい。
Otsuka, I think you can actually fire this girl. What the fuck? That is very rude behavior.
そんな子供みたいにすねないでくださいよ。後で暇だったらコーヒー入れてあげますから。
後っていつだね？
期間が明言されていないときはそれを問いただしてはいけないと教わりませんでしたか？今しばらく待機と言われたら連絡があるまで黙って待ってろってやつです。
Damn, she has really bad attitude issues. I mean, that's true, but I think that only works if you're like in a higher position. Jesus Christ, she has very bad attitude.
あのね、私を誰だと思ってるのかね？
大塚本部長です。
君の態度は本部長に対するそれとしてどうなのかね？
Exactly.
だからちゃんと敬語を使ってるじゃないですか。ただでさえうざいのにわけのわからないこと言わないでください。
Technically speaking, I guess having a subordinate that tells you honestly what they're thinking is very rare and you probably want to keep them. But I feel like this is brazenly rude. A bit too much.
君、今うざいって言っちゃった？あれ？
こっちは忙しいんですから誰か他の人に遊んでもらってくださいよ。っていうかすることないなら帰られてはどうなんです？
君までそういうこと言うのか。なんかどんどんハルデラ君。
Damn, if I was in his position, this girl would definitely already be fired. This is not a good attitude. I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but my goodness. Sorry, your attitude doesn't stick well with a professional, you know, workspace.
そりゃ尊敬する先輩ですから。あ、
どうした？
ターゲットロスト9029と思われる人物を見失いました。
見失った？どういうことかね
？9029の行方がわからなくなったということです。
言葉の意味を聞いたわけじゃない。素人じゃあるまいし、どうしてそういうことになったのかと聞いているんだ。
移行されていた9029も素人ではないということではないでしょうか。
すぐに現地に応援を回せ。
簡単に言わないでください。今現場に出ているのは3桁ナンバーの反民間人情報員ばかりです。それが4桁ナンバーの特殊工作員である9029に勝てるわけないじゃないですか。
なぜ4桁を使わん？
忘れたんですか？つい先頃無謀な命令に従って建物ごとローストされたからですよ。俺たちは神風じゃないって本社の連中を怒ってましたよ。
それは私の責任ではない。
私に言われても知りません。
今度はなんだね。
COS-019 シグナルロスト。これ多分やられちゃいましたね。
くそ、これだから地方人は。
民間人のこと地方人って言った？いけないんだ。
君、少しは真面目に仕事をしてくれないか。
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Kiara, man. I guess they're trying to show off her character, but that definitely rubbed me the wrong way. Bad boy, bad boy. I'll tell teacher. Okay, enough role-playing Yuji, what the hell? That's no good at all. Didn't your instructors teach you to abandon the tailing op the instant you lose sight of your target, and to postpone reporting in until you've reached a safe place? To COS 019. It all seemed to have happened in the blink of an eye. Just moments before, he'd been following closely as number 9029 walked away from the station, moving against the flow of drunkards jogging to catch the last train. When 9029 melted into a group of young people who'd already given up on getting home for the night, COS 019 had clicked, his tongue softly in frustration. He did have a vague sense 9029 had noticed his pursuit, but he couldn't let the man just slip away like that. Like this. Raising his sleeve to his mouth, COS 019, it's so difficult saying that codename the same time every time, began to speak into a hidden microphone, hoping to arrange for another 3-digit agent to relieve him. And in that moment of distraction, he lost sight of 9029 entirely. Damn, was he waiting for that? Hurriedly whispering the situation into his cuff mic, he moved his gaze back and forth across the street, but the man in the black suit was nowhere to be found. It was as if 9029 had simply melted away into the darkness in the split second COS 019 had taken his eyes off him. Panic surging through his mind, COS 019 took a first rapid step toward the spot where he'd seen his target. In that instant, there was a soft, purposeful whisper of air from behind, and his spine turned to ice. COS 019 had time only for a sharp inhalation of breath before a brutal kick smashed into his knee from the side. As the joint gave way into a sickening crunch, paralyzing pain shot through his body, and he began to fall. But before he could hit the ground, a knee shot up and struck his shin. Brilliant stars filled his field of vision. By the time the thought, "this is bad," flashed through his mind, he could no longer even stand. He reached out blindly for the wall, only to have his arm grabbed and yanked upward, immobilizing his shoulder and elbow joints. Completely unable to defend himself, he was smashed face first against the hard concrete wall again and again. By the third blow, he was unconscious. The next thing COS 019 knew, he was being dragged roughly down a back alley by his armpits, his legs scraping painfully against the asphalt. The belt-type harness around his waist with its small GPS locator had been removed. His cell phone had been taken away and turned off, and the radio antenna hidden on the back of his collar had been ripped out. His limbs were bound with heavy-duty nylon cords designed for electrical work, and his own necktie had been balled up and stuffed into his mouth as a gag. He felt a vague sense of admiration at the thorough professionalism of his assailant. I don't think that's what you're supposed to feel during that situation, man. Only half conscious, the world swimming darkly before his eyes as though he were drowning in a sea of oil, COS 019 heard 9029's voice. Armani, huh? You foreign capital types do get the nice suits. 9029's hand slipped into the breast pocket of 019's jacket. You walk around with your ID? Not like it gets you free train rides or discounts at the movies. You're a little too earnest, buddy. A white background with a green border in the photo. Central Security Bureau, huh? You're pretty damn photogenic for someone in this line of work, aren't you? I'm envious. I just don't get along with cameras, you know? Always comes out looking like the mugshot of an axe murderer on speed. Don't suppose you have any tips? Nah, don't worry about it. I was just messing around. Pipe down now, alright? So what? You're working alone? Should be a pair for this kind of work. Where's your buddy? You guys short-handed? Well, you know, I don't really want to badmouth my own company, but it's the kind of organization that takes 5 days to deliver water to the site of an earthquake. We've got ourselves one aggravating employer. You and me both. Pattering away in a soft voice devoid of emotion, 9029 shifted his attention to 019's ankles. Ho, a Glock, huh? Nice gun. Did your mom buy it for you? Enough with the shit talk, Yuji. God damn, this guy really likes shit talking. It does get on people's nerves, though. I have to give him credit for that. Hey, we've even got a spare magazine. Like, even if Yuji doesn't want to do this, probably, like, he does it very, very well. Mind if I borrow this for a while? Don't worry, I'll give it back in good shape. Incidentally, I'm going to be using you as live bait, okay? My apologies for the inconvenience. With a few light slaps to 019's cheeks, 9029 pulled back on the gun slide, ejected the red dummy plug from the cartridge chamber, then slid in a round of live ammunition. Damn, these scenes are really...
COS-119 のシグナル、アライブ
what is it, like in correspondence, they're not very far in between. Usually sometimes you gotta jump a couple of hours. This is like only a couple minute difference.
何
GPS ロケーターに感あり、現在位置を受信しました。
どこだね
動いていません。信号途絶地点と動座標で再発信されました。
どういうことだ
さあ、意識を取り戻したということではないでしょうか。
I mean, he regained consciousness but not contacting you guys directly? No way.
だったらなぜ連絡をしてこない
Exactly.
携帯と無線を破壊されたのでは？もう推測ですけど。
True?
応援は
707と106が現在急行中です。
たった2名かね他の実動はどうした
現場付近にいるのは2名だけです。都内全域をたった18人でフォローしているんですよ。これ以上の人員を移動させると網に穴が開きますが。
しかし4桁を相手に3桁が2人ではいかにも分が悪かろう。
いっそ桜田門にお願いして SID かサットを出してもらいましょうよ。
無茶を言わんでくれたまえよ。身内が出した火の火消しを桜田門に頼めというのかね。冗談じゃないよ君。先日も向こうのハム長がうちの内事部長に向かって予備隊さんは飼い犬の紐さえ自分で引けんのかと嫌味を言ったばかりなんだぞ。
それこそ知りませんよ。どうしてうちはそうやって敵が多いんです？外に敵が多いだけならまだしも、同じ組織の中でも陸と海でこんなに仲が悪い組織ってのも珍しくないですか？
I mean, that's true, logically, Kiara, but when people are trying to aim for the top, they kind of want to trample people that are on the same, on the same position as them, so that they can, I guess, be on the top by themselves. I don't know, it's weird. I don't really understand the working minds behind it. I mean, I understand, but I don't want to understand, if that makes sense.
それこそ気風と伝統というものだよ、ファレル君。
Tradition and character, huh? That's so dumb. Gotta get with the times, old man.
707、106、両名が現着。周辺警戒に入ります。
019はどうなっている？確認させろ。
019を現任。拘束されているようです。あ、
どうした？
通信から発砲されました。
発砲だと？
報告、2名とも負傷、足を撃ち抜かれて行動不能です。
くそ、なんてことだ。
続報、使用された銃楽器は019が所持していた9ミリ自動拳銃。銃口に新聞紙をかぶせて消音して使用した模様です。
9029はまだその場にいるのか？
いえ、すでに逃走したようです。使用した拳銃は弾倉を抜いてスライドを分解した状態で置いていったそうです。真面目ですね。
銃器所持でいたずらに有力度を上げないつもりなのだろう。ずる賢い犬だ。
やられましたね。019をライブベイトにして仲間をおびき寄せたんですね。狙撃兵がよく使う手です。しかも3人仕留めた時点で火器を吐き、素早く拠点を後にしている。欲張らないという点でも狙撃兵そのものです。
Okay, enough trying to put him on a pedestal, damn it. We get it, he's pretty good at his job, Kiara.
実に厄介なやつだ。現場には事後処理班を送れ。死人は出ているのかね？
いえ、019、707、106、3名とも負傷していますが死人は出ていません。救護班を送りますか？
そうしてくれたまえ。私はまた中央指令室で怒られてくるよ。あとは任せる。
お預かりします。殺さないということはまだセーフティーピンは抜けていないと考えていいんですかね。
By the time I finally make it to the hotel, having changed subway trains 3 times on the way back, it's past 1:30 in the morning, and I'm in bad shape. My throat's painfully dry, probably from the lingering fever. I try to walk straight, but the walls seem to pitch and swerve around me. It feels like my feet are sinking uncertainly into fluffy cushions. I'm going to collapse soon. A frozen black lump deep inside my chest, warmed by the heat of my fever, fills my lungs with putrid gas faster than I can spit it out. It's fine. Happens all the time. I've experienced this many times before. I'll get through it. Even so, it's been a while since I felt this terrible. I've been stable lately. More stable than I thought possible. Probably thanks to Mahama. The accumulation of the small blessings I found there. The days that flowed by naturally. The hermetically sealed world where violence had no place. I've always hated violence. I'm a weakling by nature. I was made to suffer violence, not to inflict it on others. When did I change? When did I become what I am? Just thinking about it makes me feel even worse. But things are different now. There's one sliver of light in the darkness. I'm protecting something that's precious to me. That knowledge supports me. I can almost hear someone telling me, "You're doing the right thing." That's right. I don't have to content myself with protecting some abstract concept on someone else's orders. I have something real to protect now. Irisu Machina. For her sake, I have to keep going. When I get back to the room, I'll drink a glass of water. And then I'll go to bed where she's sleeping, collapse next to her, and sleep until morning. Opening our door with my keycard, I slip quietly into the room. I beeline for the small fridge to the side of the entrance and retrieve a plastic bottle of mineral water. The pitch-black room is faintly illuminated by the orange glow of the small light inside the refrigerator. Machina? With one glance at the bed, I realize that Machina isn't tucked under the covers where I left her, and my heart constricts painfully in my chest. Hey Machina, you're just messing around, right? Where are you? Looking around the interior of our room in a panic, I don't see much in the way of hiding places. I throw open the door to the bathroom, but Machina's not on the toilet or in the shower. I even opened a small closet in my desperation, but of course, she isn't there. Pulling myself together slightly with an effort of will, I return to the entrance and finally notice that her boots are missing. She went out? But where on earth would she be going at this hour? Don't tell me she... The conjecture pops into my mind abruptly, quickly solidifying into a powerful premonition. In this moment, I'm on my feet, bursting through the door and sprinting down the hallway. Every once in a while, turn back when you're turning a street corner and get a good look at the road behind you. You get lost less often on the way back. Papa, my classmate, taught me that. Even if you're paying attention to the scenery on the way over, things will look different when you're heading back in the opposite direction, so sometimes you'll take the wrong turn. That's actually very good advice. From a very young age, I've been doing most of my walking behind others. My sense of direction's never been that good. So on the way over here from the train station, I've turned around numerous times. Nobody's following me. I'm walking toward a familiar bathhouse chimney that pokes above the buildings on either side, heading for that chimney as a landmark. I'll eventually arrive at the inn where I forgot the apple seedling yesterday. Papa said he'd figure something out, but I learned from my job at the bakery that an adult should own up to their mistakes and try their best to set things right.
それにしても、パパはどこへ行ったんだろう。
I mean, yeah, you're an adult, but I think adults should also let go the things that they, you know... I don't know. I think you should let go the stuff that you think is impossible to get back. Like, this is ridiculous, Machina. It's not... I guess I can't say it's not that important, because it is subjective. Lately, I've noticed Papa slipping out of the room in the middle of the night and going off somewhere. He staggers out of the room like he's carrying a heavy weight on his back, then returns with his eyes dark and clouded. I know he must be keeping some big secret from me, and I kinda understand that it's related to sensitive, painful stuff he doesn't want to talk about. It's a little hard to put in words. Maybe like original sin. I get the feeling it's a taboo topic, something he wants to keep hidden away forever. And I can't get myself to try and force it out of him either. I mean, I understand where he's coming from. It's just like how I didn't want to drag other people into the thing with my family. Papa must have some old wounds of his own, and I think they're still pretty raw, still bleeding. Someday, I want Papa to trust me enough to tell the whole story. I want to accept everything about him, even his past, just like he did for me. But no matter how much I want to help him, I don't really have any specific plans. Right now, comforting him with my body is the best I can do. It's frustrating. I thought staying a child would mean someone would always protect me. Even though I made a choice not to grow up, right now, I want nothing more than to become a wise, mature woman who can heal any wound. So looking back, I guess Amane wasn't just talking nonsense when she said, "Women change when they find themselves a man." Papa's probably going to be mad if he finds out I slipped out of our room without asking him first. I mean, of course you guys are fugitives! Do you not know the dangers? Oh my god, Makina. I don't want him to be angry at me, of course, but it'd be even more painful to push yet another burden onto his back. When I realized I'd forgotten the apple tree, Papa was kind and supportive, and told me we'd definitely get it back someday. But that kindness was more painful than anything else. If I just let Papa keep spoiling me like this, I'll definitely become a useless burden of a woman, unable to do a thing but sit and watch, just like last time. I guess I kinda understand where she's coming from though. But this is super dangerous though, my god. I'm going to fix my own mistakes. I figured breaking into the building would be the trickiest part of this operation, but as it turns out, I got inside so easily it was almost unsatisfying. They just stuck some thick yellow tape over the gaping holes where the front windows used to be, and the old lady and her customers obviously aren't around anymore. There weren't any lookouts watching the entrance either. I head straight to the kitchen with my LED pen light in hand, but the potted apple seedling isn't on the counter where I left it.
やっぱりパパの言う通り市ヶ谷の人に回収されちゃったのかな。でもなかったらなかったで、なかったって事実は手に入れたわけだし、無駄じゃないよね。
I guess if you want to tell yourself that way, sure, to become more positive. Now I've got a bunch of new questions to worry about, like who took it and where. But at least I've confirmed there's nothing I can do right now. Guess I'm just putting off the issue, but at least the powerless feeling of watching TV without a remote control is gone.
仕方がないのよさ。パパが帰ってくる前に急いでホテルに戻らなきゃ。
おい、そこで何をしている？
Crap, they found me. Estimated age, late 30s. Height, about 170 centimeters. His hair smoothed down to the back. Dark sunglasses. A pedo mustache. Wearing a cheap, nondescript suit, missing a button in the front, and a blue paisley necktie. A pair of worn-out old loafers on his feet. Unusual way of standing with his left shoulder a little lower than his right. If what Papa told me was on the level, this guy must be... CIA?
おい、どうした？いや、こんなところに女の子が。
Not good. Now there's two of them. My sexy ninja techniques probably aren't going to get me out of this one. God damn it, Makin. At times like this, let's see.
お嬢ちゃん、こんなところで何をしているのかな？一人？
Oh, sorry. What do I do? What can I do?
おい待て。この子、安泰のイリスマキナじゃないか？何？いや、お嬢ちゃん、怖がらなくてもいい。とりあえず名前を教えてもらえるかな？
Totally not suspicious at all, Investigator A. Okay, can't waste any more time hesitating. As I scream the words, the tension that had frozen my muscles in place loosens, and I feel hot blood pulsing through my veins. After refilling my lungs with a great gulp of air, I lightly toss the penlight in my hand at the face of the man standing in front of me.
Oi!
His eyes open wide for a moment, instinctively following the projectile's trajectory toward him. I use that one distracted moment to close the distance between us. Just as he's reaching out his hands to catch the small flashlight, I line up a headbutt aimed at his lower abdomen. In one smooth movement, I smack directly into his solar plexus at full force. The body blow takes the man completely by surprise, and he drops to his knees. I instantly grab hold of his head and swing my knee up savagely to hit his nose. He hits the ground with a heavy thud. Without a moment's delay, I launch a hard kick to the throat as the finishing blow. Jesus, this girl's ruthless. It takes a moment for the other man to realize his partner's down in the darkness, but he's soon reaching inside his suit toward the left armpit. Switching right back to victim mode, I scream tearfully for help, causing the second man to hesitate slightly as his hand grasps the stock of his gun. I promptly duck and tumble across the floor. I'm behind him before he can blink. Hurling myself at the man's back, I twine my legs around his torso, slip my right arm in front of his neck, and hook my wrist into the crook of my left elbow. My left hand finds the back of his head and pushes it firmly forward. As the pressure cuts off the flow of air to his lungs, the man quickly shoves a hand in between my slender arm and his neck. But he doesn't have the leverage to break my stranglehold. I guess you're using your, like small ball to the maximum effort right now, Machina. People would be pretty, pretty careless around people like Machina, right? They wouldn't think that she would be able to do anything for the most part. I know I would be pretty careless considering, like usually I don't judge people based on their size and whatnot, but Machina's tiny. Machina's like 140 centimeters? Then again, if I get headbutted by someone that small, it's still gonna hurt. I press my forehead down against the back of my left hand, intensifying the constant pressure I'm applying to the back of his head. I'm not strangling him with my arm. I'm holding the arm steady and using the principle of leverage to crush his neck against it. There's a nasty rattling sound coming from a man's neck. The more he struggles, the more his tightly his neck is constricted. Okay. There's an extra hiss there. The pressure to his carotid artery quickly brings him to the edge of unconsciousness. The man slaps weakly on my arm as if to signal surrender. But this would all be wasted effort if I let him go now. Papa taught me to slowly count out 7 full seconds after your opponent goes limp before you let go. Guess we're good now. I loosen my strangling grip on the man's neck, and in that moment, I hear a sharp sound. 2 impacts from behind, like powerful kicks to my lower back. I stumble away from the man I've been grappling with, now collapse on the ground, and turn to find my first opponent sitting up, bleeding heavily from his broken nose, massaging his throat with his left hand, a smoking pistol clutched in his right. Did I get shot? It's too dark to see, but there's a cold, empty feeling around my waist, like someone's forced a huge chunk of ice into my body. When I reach down to touch it, my hand finds a patch of slick dampness. I hold my fingers up to my face for a better look. They're covered in sticky, viscous red blood. Ooh. A dark stain begins to spread out across my clothes from a spot near my hips. I can feel the blood gathering thickly between my skin and the fabric, forming a lukewarm little pond. This is bad. It's not stopping. I mean, it's a gunshot, Machina. My legs give way from sheer terror, and I fall to the ground. Oh crap. I screwed up big time. Never thought I'd get shot this easily. Papa is gonna be so mad at me.
こいつ調子に乗りやがって
Ah, I get it. I didn't finish him off properly. That's why it turned out like this. Guess you tend to be a little soft about that sort of thing. Until you get some real experience under your belt, huh? Good to know.
このガキただじゃおかんぞ
It really hurts. Ah, this sucks. I'm gonna die like this? In the end, I couldn't do a thing. Couldn't solve any of my problems. Just ran around in circles for a while and got killed like an idiot. Why was I even born in the first place? What a downer.
やだよ。死にたくないよ。パパ、助けてよ。パパ。
Yeah, I remember when I first played this route, I actually did an all-nighter on it. I don't think I even slept when I went to school, and I just slept on my desk. It's alright. Human beings are made of sturdy stuff. You won't die that easily.
9029やめろ
Ah, god damn it, my head's killing me. This isn't good enough. Not nearly good enough. Cold, murderous hatred swirls through my mind like a vortex of black mud. Hey, this hurts, doesn't it? Getting smacked around hurts, right? Wonder what kind of expression I'm making right now. I think I'm probably smiling. But you know, it's hard to really understand that pain until you're the one getting smacked. You couldn't understand the pain others felt, old man. That's why you could smack mom around without a second thought. Does hitting people really feel that? Well, I do understand. I'm your child after all. See? I'm smiling, aren't I? I'm the same as you. Irredeemable scum. Hurting people to make myself feel better. In the end, I'm still your son, old man. This right here is a sickness, and there's no cure. You and me will hurt people until the day we die. It's the nature of our disease. Here's how it's going to work. I'll stop you as many times as it takes. It's fine. Don't worry. Someday, I'll find some kind soul to put a stop to me as well. So for now, you just go ahead and wait on the other side, Dad. That's right. I've got to kill. I've got to kill him. Otherwise, someone else I love will die. Huh?
ダメだよ。殺したらダメ。
Ah, right. Sorry, Machina. Got a little carried away there. Does it hurt?
痛いよ。泣きそう。
Hold on. I'll stop the bleeding now. That hurts, huh? Well, of course it does. But that's a good thing. Means your body can tolerate the wounds. It's alright. You're not going to die.
穴っぽこ2つも増えちゃったのよさ。
Can you stop joking at this? God damn you, Machina. Looks like 9mm silver tips. Both bullets passed through. The blood's clean, so it didn't hit your kidney. I'll get you to a hospital right away. Just tough it out for a little while.
でも病院はやだな。また何年も閉じ込められちゃうのよさ。
Don't worry. I'll get you out once you're better. Here. Think you can get on my back?
力が入らないよ。パパ、抱っこして。
You really are spoiled rotten, Machina. Just hang in there. I'll get you treatment right away. Sorry. Hey, respond. If you fall asleep, your heart's going to stop beating. Hey, Machina. This isn't happening.
その子を下ろしなさい。
JB.
このままじゃ、その子死ぬわよ。早く下ろして。
Not happening. I won't give Machina to you. I'm taking her to the hospital.
無理よ。病院まで持たないわ。早く下ろして。ユージ。
Alright.
止血は済んでいるわね。エピコン局麻剤を常駐。腕と足、それと患部周辺に打つわ。右足のブーツとソックスを脱がせて。
Fine.
少し気分が悪くなるかもしれないけど、吐いちゃダメよ。いい？マキナ。
JB, what are you doing here?
鉢植えを返しに来たのよ。
Potted plant?
身を隠して逃げ回るってのに、こんなものを持ち歩いていたってことは大事なものなんでしょ。
Yeah, that's right. Machina came here to get that tree back.
命よりも大切な鉢植えなの？子供ね。
You know, I said that too, JB, but now that I think back, maybe having something more important than your life isn't all that bad, you know? As childish as that may seem. You don't have anything that matters more to you than your life, JB? That tree's precious to Machina, and Machina's precious to me. But we failed. Machina and I both.
大丈夫よ。生きてさえいれば何度でもやり直しは効くわ。あなたもマキナもね。
Machina. I don't believe in God. Same, Yuji? Same? I prayed to him constantly as a kid and never got a thing to show for it. Same? Constantly prayed to God when my mom was at the hospital. But right now, there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing I can do but hold her hand tightly and pray to that rotten bastard. Please, I don't care what happens to me anymore. Just save this girl. I'm begging you. I watch the tears stream down Papa's face. I watch him squeeze my hand between his, as if to pray, and I felt my chest grow warm. Ah, so this is... family. With that thought, something like contentment filled my heart. Years ago, I was kidnapped. My father was murdered before my eyes, and I spent days locked up with his corpse. After my rescue, I awoke in a hospital bed. My mother and grandmother were in the room with me. I'd come back alive against all the odds, and when they looked at me, they couldn't hide the disgust in their eyes. Why are you still breathing? Neither of them spoke, but the words were written on their faces. Should my kidnapping and safe return become public knowledge, the world would learn that they'd abandoned me and used my sister as a body double. Grandpa had slowly built up our political influence. Grandmother had tooth and nail to protect our silent dominance of the financial world. Both would crumble in an instant under the weight of such a scandal. To the Arisu clan, I was an ugly piece of dirt that had to be swept under the rug. Even a child could see those grown-up circumstances reflected in their warped expressions. But even so, what? The woman in front of me was still my mother. I had to tell her that Papa died protecting me. My arm felt as heavy as lead, but I reached out to her. My throat was dry as sandpaper, but I spoke to her. My voice rasped out hoarsely. My arm wavered weakly, thin as that of a corpse, and my mother flinched away. She couldn't stifle her shriek entirely. She looked at me as though I were a monster. But there were doctors and nurses nearby. She couldn't just ignore my outstretched hand in front of an audience. And so, my clean freak mother covered her hand in a handkerchief and took mine, as though she were touching a piece of garbage. Was this really the hand of the woman who gave birth to me? It was so cold to the touch. In comparison to that, Papa's hands feel so very, very warm. I can't manage much of a grip right now, but I squeeze back as best I can. Yeah, I'm right here, Makina.
意識はまだ混濁しているみたいだけれど、エピネフリンが効いてきたみたいね。もう動かしても大丈夫よ。この時間なら道路も空いているし、救急車より私の車の方が早いわ。マキナを私の車に乗せなさい。私は電話で ER の空きを確認しておくから。
Thanks. I'll leave the rest to you, JB.
あんたも来るのよ。マキナを残して一人で逃げるつもり。
Once she's in the doctor's hands, there's nothing more I can do. Your car's only a two-seater anyway, JB.
待ちなさい、ユージ！ユージ！
That's right. Even if I were to follow, there's no longer anything I can do for her. In that case, guess I'll just have to focus on the things only I can do, JB. Two weeks later.
先輩、コーヒー入りましたよ。ありがとう、キアラ。なんか先輩、最近肌荒れとかひどくないですか？絶対にストレスですよ、それ。分かってるわよ。でも、今は仕方がないでしょ。あれから2週間、ずいぶんバタバタしてましたからね。風見雄二に関する動向は何か
sorry.
目新しい情報は何も。相変わらず都内に潜伏しながら逃げ回ってるみたいですね。最後に姿が確認されたのは4日前の午後4時頃、新宿駅の地下街です。20分の追尾の後、例のごとく忽然と姿を消しました。一人になると本当に神出鬼没ですね、彼は。そういう訓練されているのよ。部分協力とはいえ、桜田門の協力を得て都内には600人からの捜査員が目を光らせているんですよ。どうして捕まらないんですかね。迂闊に手を出すなって命令を出してあるからよ。こちらから手を出さなければ向こうも攻撃はしてこないわ。山に逃げ込んだベトナム機関兵みたいですね。保安官事務所にでも追い込んでマイクで説得しますか？うちのお偉いさんは説得なんかないわよ。所詮は高価な消耗品。たとえ原価償却期間前でも壊れれば取り外してぽいよ。9029号の場合、最初の2年満期は満了してますが、その後の因数割れによる士官待遇歌手としての応召期間が4年残ってますから、あと1年半ほど残ってますね。工作員候補なんて何万人もいるもの。反抗した紙が1枚あればいくらでも補充が効くと思ってるのね。工作員なんて紙切れ1枚の価値しかないと信じ込んで、それを疑うこともしない。苦労して育てたのにもったいないですよ。星の数よりめんこの数って言うじゃないですか。長く飼われた犬は死ぬか狂うかのどちらかが運命よ。 うちに拾われなければもっと早く来るってた。そう思えば諦めもつくでしょ。先輩はそれでいいんですか？そんな納得できるんですか？いいわけないじゃないのよ。でもどうすることもできないのもまた事実よ。兵は国を愛しても国は兵を愛してはくれないのよ。
That's why I have never been a patriot all my life. At the end of the day, I think patriotism is not very good. I think what you need is, for the most part,
悲しいですけどね。あ、そういえばイリス・マキナの件はどうなりました？一応は身柄確保ってことでうちで預かったまま。暗殺命令も保留よ。2日前に緊急搬送した台東区の病院から世田谷区の増沢病院に移したのは知っているでしょ？あそこって一度入ったら二度と出られないって噂ですよね。それは戦前の話よ。病院を移しても相変わらず眠ったままなんですか？そうね。時々ますらしいのだけれど、一日の大半は眠ったままらしいわ。今日は母親が初めて見舞いに来るらしいから、一応私も立ち会ってくるわ。あの子の今後の処遇も気になるし。入院してから2週間ですよ。随分とのんびりとした初見舞いですね。イリス家にとってマキナはその程度の存在なのだと言ってしまえばそれまでなんだけどね。気の重い話だわ。
yes, far, far from a pleasant story.
マキナ、起きなさい。お母さんですよ。マキナ。ねえ、ハルデラさん。この子、本当に生きてるの？はい。応急処置に手抜かりはありませんでしたし、手術も成功しています。
Says the person that wants to kill her in the first place. What was that stupid assassination order?
でも、ピストルで撃たれたのでしょ？側腹部にの銃弾を受けましたが、幸いなことに臓器へのダメージはありませんでした。だったらどうして目を覚まさないのかしら。医師の診断ではおそらくは精神的なものだとのことでしたので、こちらの病院に移送させていただきました。このまま目を覚まさないということはないの？はい、不定期ですが夜中に何度か目を覚ましている痕跡が計器で測定されているそうです。長期的にはなりますが、治療で回復していくだろうとのことです。いやーね、この子また父親が死んだ時と同じ症状じゃない。また何年も入院するのかしら。まあその方が手がかからなくていいのだけれど。はあ、ご心配なさらなくて結構ですよ。入院費その他は私どもが負担いたしますから。いえ、そういうことでは。このままあと3年も眠り続けてくれれば、マキナは家督相続権を完全に剥奪されますし、その方がこのれません。でもそれはそれで少し困ったことになるというか。困ったことですか？現在の当主はマキナの妹サリナが代行しておりますのですけど、あなたもご存知かとは思いますが、サリナは陰湿な早期臭の魔女にかかって重体です。サリナの重体を知って一番驚いたのは私のお母様でしたね。あの憎たらしいほどにかくしゃくとしていたお母様が一気に老け込んだのはいい気味だったのですけれど、私も母親としては娘が2人とも故障となると困ってしまいます。でしょうね。どちらか一方でも回復すればよいのですけれど、正直マキナにはあまり期待しておりません。マキナの体、内臓は無傷なのですよね。まさか。言いましたようにサリナは重体です。 速やかな臓器提供を必要としています。この際ですし、マキナから取り出して移植するというのはどうでしょう。
やめてください。マキナ推されていますが、耳は聞こえています。不活なことを口になさると。
あらそう、マキナ、あなた聞こえているの？だったら話は早いですね。ねえマキナ、あなたサリナのために臓器を提供してくれないかしら。聞こえているのでしょマキナ。返事がない。ただの屍のようですね。
Let me actually take a screenshot of this real quick for the thumbnail. Should actually do that more often, like taking screenshots while I'm recording so that it's easier.
娘が2人とも死にかけていて、1人を犠牲にすればもう1人を救うことができるのならば、そうするべきだと私は思うのですが、ハルデラさんはどう思われますか？
私には部を超えた判断です。お答えできかねます。
Yeah, JB's like, yeah, you're a crazy bitch. I don't want to fall into your line of reasoning.
そっか。そのために私は生かされていたんだ。でも結局私は殺されちゃうんだね。殺された後、死体から臓器を抜き取られてサリナに移植され、サリナは助かる。それでいいのかもしれない。ただ大人の都合で殺されるより、誰かの命を救って死ぬのなら、私もきっとパパと同じところへ、天国へ行ける。そうしたらパパに会って謝ろう。見ていることしかできなくてごめんねって謝ろう。そしてありがとうって言おう。パパが命がけで助けてくれたから、私は今のパパ、風見雄二に会えたのよってお話をしよう。とても楽しかった。もう楽しかったのよってお話をしよう。
ねえ、今ここでそこの機械を止めたら、この子って死んじゃうのかしら。
I mean, I get they're trying to make you hate Makina's mom, but they're doing a very good job right now because wow.
やめてください。いくら親でもそれは犯罪です。
ねえ、お母さん、お友達っていますか？お金で買えないお友達は何人いますか？誰かに自慢できるお友達っていますか？私ね、美浜学園で楽しいお友達がいっぱいできたのよ。そのこともパパにお話ししてあげなきゃね。
ところで、この子と一緒に逃げ回っていたという男の子、なんて言いました？
風見雄二ですか？
そうそう、風見雄二くん。彼はもう捕まえたのですか？
いえ、目下全力で捜索中です。
困った子ね。あの子、あなたのところの飼い犬でしょ？顔は悪くないし、元気よく挨拶できる子で、私も嫌いではないのだけれど、どうにもあの目がいただけませんね。あれは人を殺す目です。
何の力も持ち合わせていないくせに反抗心だけはたくましい。それが若さだというのは理解するところではありますが、その若さゆえに何をしでかすか知れたものではありませんし、私は妙な不安を覚えるのですよ。はい。とっとと捕まえて処分していただくか、離島の鰹節工場にでも放り込んでくださいません？全力で対処いたします。お願いね。はい。
Yuji, where are you and what are you doing? As the sky grows red and frail lines of cloud creep to the east, I catch the scent of curry on the breeze. Must be coming from some house in the neighborhood. It's a mellow, calming smell. Lulls your mind to sleep. When pressed to name a favorite food, I answer curry almost by default. But I don't remember exactly when I came to like it. Might just have been that the stuff's reliably edible no matter where it's coming from. But I think there was probably more to it than that. I think something about the warm, simple domesticity of curry powerfully appealed to me. I walked quickly away, escaping the peaceful scent leaking out of some family's kitchen. By the time it's faded completely, I found a small park suitable for a brief rest. There's a single light van parked on the road just outside the park. Looks like a commercial vehicle. As I enter the park, I casually glance at the logo on the door and the license plate in the back. But it doesn't seem to be one of our unmarked vehicles. Peeking briefly in the side window, I find a driver lying back with his seat down, a popular weekly magazine folded over his face. There are a number of large cardboard boxes in the luggage space behind the man, inside the one with an open lid. I can make out a number of new-looking deep blue work uniforms. Probably just a slightly sleep-deprived employee of a normal company. Must have stopped to take a quick nap and ended up sleeping right through to evening. Nothing to worry about, I guess. My hand, still clenched in my pocket, isn't oozing cold sweat. And I've got a pretty sensitive nose for danger. Back when I was a rookie, it was so pronounced that I'd flinch in fear at the shaking of tree branches in the wind. My pulse raced every time someone walked toward me. I was half convinced they'd shoot me dead as we passed each other. But in time, I adjusted to the field, to that ever-present prickling tension in the air, and my sense of smell grew more precise. I strolled into the park, taking in my surroundings by pretending to look for someone, then dropped myself heavily down onto a wooden bench. It's already 6:45 by the watch on my left wrist. This would be the first time I've gotten off my feet in around 9 hours. As you might expect, I'm slightly fatigued. It's not going to be long before it gets dark out, and my head starts throbbing again. I have to find myself some place to lay low before night falls. These last few days, I've just been catnapping in late-night movie theaters and soaking in saunas for a few hours. Can't say I remember eating any solid meals either. Come to think of it, the last time I ate was probably at that beef bowl place yesterday. A full 24 hours ago by now. I'm still managing to change my underwear every once in a while, but the suit I bought soon after we hit the road is getting pretty shabby looking by now. Not that I have enough money to buy a new outfit at this point. I did consider leaving Tokyo and slipping myself into some group of foreign laborers to earn a little pocket money, but I can't leave Makina. I'm aware the girl was carried by ambulance to a different hospital recently. The security there has proven just as sloppy, fortunately. I've snuck into Makina's room numerous times in the night, spoken to where she lies sleeping in her bed. I was worried about her condition, of course, but the real reason I keep risking capture to see Makina is a much more selfish one. I just miss her so badly I can't stay away. When the girl was taken from me and I found myself alone, I did calm down a little. I looked back and realized that I'd let momentum carry me into a pretty stupid stunt. But the overwhelming absence at my side where Makina used to be only gets more unbearable by the hour. One by one, the dormant scars on my heart are opening with a groan of tearing flesh. From many jagged mouths, my vicious, cowardly, warped, spiteful other self begins to speak. You've gone mad, Kazami Yuji. For a woman you've known for only months, you abandoned the organization that took you in, the commander who treated you like family. Ranking, think about it. Hiding behind the protection of others, haven't you? Running from one protector to the next, watching them die. How many have you gone through by now? Shut up. Someone has to be sacrificed to keep a weakling like you alive. Someone has to be killed. Someone has to die in your place. That's not true. I struggled forward. I'm not like I used to be. I've grown. That's a delusion. Act out the person you want to become. Someday, what you are inside will catch up with what you pretend to be. Asako's words, but surely you don't still believe them. That was the white lie of a kind adult, designed to manipulate you out of your shell. Shut up. The hell does it matter? Even lies become real if you believe in them long enough. If you act strong, someday you'll become strong. This is exactly why you're still a child. And because you're a child, you act without considering the consequences. So here we are. You puffed out of your chest and declared you'd protect Machina. You betrayed the company that's been looking after you for many years. You put luck, and now everything's gone to hell. What happens next? I'll do whatever I have to. What will be will be. There's no way to know how this will end. Irresponsible as always. You're really content to resign yourself to fate? Well, what do you want me to do? Kill. Just kill every last person who gets in your way. Tell me, what's your top priority? To protect Machina. To keep the woman I love safe. And what's getting in the way? You already have the answer, don't you? There's no reason to sit around thinking. Act. I don't have the means. A flimsy excuse. Means aren't relevant to murder. Princes die the same as peasants. And a man who isn't planning on coming back alive can kill just about anyone. As long as he doesn't plan on coming back alive. But didn't you say it yourself? If you're coming to take someone's life, go in prepared to lose your own instead. If you want someone dead, don't start thinking about saving your own skin. When you need to kill, be ready to die. Exactly right. What's your life worth to you anyway? Pointless, ugly little things they handed to you on a scrap of paper. Surely you're not that attached to it. Yeah, guess that works. I can hear the cracks in my heart widening into fissures, and the creaking of a door opening in darkness.
もしもし、大丈夫ですか?
Sorry, what?
どうかされましたか?
What do you mean?
いえ、こんな時間にこんな場所でぼーっとされていらっしゃったので、ご気分でも優れないのかと。
Ah. Must have been more than a little out of it. For a moment, I can't even process the person standing in front of me. I hurriedly snapped myself awake and focus. The man's a uniformed cop, probably in his 40s. Silver badge, 2 stripes. Probably the local head patrol officer. Warning bells ringing in my head, I instantly plastered a smile onto my face. Conditioned reflex I've been working on for many years now. Sorry, looks like I nodded off. Okay. See that over there? I point out the van sitting silently by the entrance. I was taking a business trip to Nagano with a coworker from my company, but the old man said he was tired from all the driving, so we took a little break. You wouldn't believe the way he snores. Just slipped out to take a rest here, that's all.
なるほどね。
Although he gives every sign of being convinced by my explanation, the man's a veteran who spent many years on a neighborhood beat. Probably had a reason for striking up this friendly little chat. I'm willing to bet he sensed something a little off about me. Caught a whiff of bloodlust in the air. His is pretty different from mine, but like I said, a sense of smell honed in the field isn't to be underestimated.
お仕事は何をされているのかな?
We manufacture work clothes and uniforms. Lately there's been a real flood of cheap crap from overseas. So a little company like us has to run around constantly just to keep our heads above water.
そりゃあ大変でしょうな。
Even as he's offering me a convincingly friendly smile, The patrol officer takes out his POT, a modified PDA for looking up vehicles and criminal records, and keys in the license plate number. After looking at the screen for a few moments, he nods with a non-committal rubs his chin thoughtfully, and stows the little terminal back in its leather case.
お疲れのところを申し訳ないのですが、公園前の道路は駐停車禁止区域となってますから、すぐに移動していただけますか。
Ah, yes. Sorry about that. I'll wake up the old man right away.
居眠りなんかしないように気をつけて。
Yeah. Sorry for the bother.
それじゃ、お仕事を頑張って。
Yeah. I'll do my best. No matter how hard I try, this is the only way I can get anything done. But I'll do my best. Thinking isn't going to fix my problems. Standing still isn't going to set the wheels in motion. Even now, precious seconds are flowing uselessly down the drain. I push myself up off the bench and walk toward the small van just outside the park. The patrol officer is watching me from behind. Seems he intends to wait until I get into the vehicle and leave. I suppress the urge to mutter a few choice words under my breath. Suppose this is almost convenient in a way. Approaching the van, I rap rightly on the side window with my knuckles. The driver must have been in a pretty deep sleep. He jerks up in surprise at the sound, sending the magazine on his face flying, and looks around in bleary-eyed confusion. After finally noticing me crouch outside his door, he reluctantly lowers the window. My apologies, sir, but I need a word. My identification. I quite a folded piece of leather about the size of a pass case with a gold badge embedded in its surface. After a moment, I open and show the man its contents. Inside is a combination identification and electronic pass card describing me as a member of the special governmental organization, Central Intelligence Division, attached to the 2nd Research Section. I don't usually carry the thing around, but it does sometimes prove useful as a stopgap measure when I run into issues with Sakura Damon. Oh, sorry. My bad. I was actually not finished reading that. So I dug it out of the depths of my backpack a few days ago. The man in the driver's seat rubs his eyes for a moment, then carefully compares the photograph and the card with my face. Perfectly natural reaction when you're knocked out of a pleasant nap by some random guy in street clothes with some bizarre ID you've never even seen before. Probably doesn't help that I look about 20 years too young to be working for a government agency of any kind. There's more than a little suspicion in this. I'm currently investigating an automobile bombing incident that occurred in Mishima Cape recently. And the foreign terrorist group thought to be responsible for that crime has just called in a new threat. We have reason to believe they planted explosives on a vehicle in this neighborhood.
爆弾?
Quietly, sir. Please, keep your voice down.
でも俺ずっと車の中にいましたよ。爆弾を仕掛けられた覚えは。
Modern bombs are extremely efficient and often quite small. Many can be installed in less than 10 minutes. In any case, we need to move this van. Could you please open the passenger side door?
動かすって俺が運転するんですか?
You can't get out here. The explosives could be set off to go off when the suspension extends. For now, we need to get away from this area. With those words, I turn and wave a hand at the patrol officer watching us from the park, who responds with an earnest salute. As the driver starts in surprise at the presence of the uniformed policeman, and whisper, "Hurry," in a controlled but urgent tone of voice. Off balance and alarmed, the man hurriedly unlocks the passenger door. I slide into the seat and snap on my then glare fiercely out the front window at nothing in particular. Please take it nice and slow. I'll take over in the driver's seat after we've gained a little distance.
はい。
Thank you for your cooperation. Lying straight to his teeth, man. With quavering hands, the driver turns his key and starts the engine. The light van glides gingerly down the road like a child walking on thin ice, makes its way toward the highway where the streetlights are beginning to snap awake, and disappears into the hustle and bustle of the city.
先輩、お腹空きませんか？なんか出前でも取りましょうよ。先輩、寝ちゃったんですか？
うるさいわね。少し考え事をしていただけよ。何なの？